It may be the oldest medicine in the world, but a good hearty laugh can work wonders, as can crying for that matter. Ever hear someone say how cathartic a good cry can be? Both stimulate your heart and temporarily rev up many of your body systems, causing your heart rate and blood pressure to decrease significantly and allowing your body to relax. Do you have friends who always manage to make you laugh? Are you able to make them laugh? Being with friends and enjoying their company is an important part of being psychosocially healthy. Psychosocial health is a combination of your mental, emotional, social, and spiritual dimensions. It's the result of a very complex interaction between your history, your conscious and unconscious thoughts, and how you interpret the past. We all know people who seem to go with the flow in life, who accept and overcome life's most difficult challenges. And we all know people who are just the opposite, who seem overwhelmed by life's everyday ups and downs. Most experts agree that people who are psychosocially healthy share some basic attributes. They have satisfying and long-lasting personal relationships. They feel comfortable around other people. They have a sense of responsibility toward others. They help others when possible and don't question giving of themselves. They're able to interact with many different types of people and don't feel threatened by differences. They feel good about themselves and have reasonable expectations for themselves. They have positive attitudes about life and recognize that having fun is a very important part of life. They accept responsibility for their decisions, set goals for themselves, and are able to balance the stress and anxiety in their lives without affecting others. They appreciate nature, have respect for their surroundings, and are conscious of their place in the universe. How is your state of psychosocial health? Achieving the perfect balance of mental, emotional, social, and spiritual health is not easy, especially in today's hectic and impersonal world. But you can take steps to modify your behavior in any of these areas. To do this, you need to understand the roles that each dimension plays in your overall well-being. Let's look at mental health first. This is the thinking part of psychosocial health. Your mental health is a reflection of your attitudes, your values and beliefs about yourself, your relationships, and life in general. Maintaining a positive attitude when things don't go as you anticipated is a sign of good mental health. A mentally unhealthy person will often take a distorted view and respond in an irrational manner. Persons who have extremely abnormal behavior or mental disorders may exhibit severely distorted perceptions, mood swings, and thought processes. In such cases, a person might be classified as having a mental illness. The second component of psychosocial health is your emotional health. This is your feeling side. Some of the many emotions you experience include love, hate, joy, anxiety, fear, and anger. An emotionally healthy person can respond to upsets in a stable and appropriate manner, while an emotionally unhealthy person may become extremely volatile or even violent. The third component of psychosocial health is social health, your interaction with other people and your ability to adapt to social situations. Socially healthy people have a wide range of social interactions with friends, family, acquaintances, and people they may see only occasionally. They create a network of friends and family to whom they can give and receive support. Socially healthy people create social bonds that allow them to feel like they belong to a group and that provide opportunities for giving and receiving nurturance. Do you have different groups of friends who meet various social needs? Are there some friends who are like family to you? Many people feel society has become too impersonal and that many of us have lost the ability to interact in a healthy way. Advances in technology have made it possible for people to interact without being in the same room. People are dating without actually seeing each other. And the growth of the global economy has kept us on the go. In response, some people have taken steps to counteract this perceived impersonal nature of society. One such group was actually formed with the express purpose of giving nurturance.
People in the world are realizing now that they've sort of moved away from the practice of kindness, which has gotten our civilization through an awful lot throughout history. And it seems of late that there's a lot of dissatisfaction in the world, and people tend to hold their kindness and their love close to themselves. They give it to their family, and they give it to their good friends, and they might give it to their teachers even. But what we have forgotten is that every person out there in the world can be a friend, and every person out there in the world needs somebody to be kind to them. You, me, everybody. And that's why the kindness movement is important, because it's bringing an awareness to people that we have to change the way we look at others, from enemies or strangers to potential friends and people that need some love and care. It puts a very positive spin on life when you reach out to another person with kindness, and it makes you feel good and it makes them feel good, and this is what we're trying to promote.
I think one of the reasons that Random Acts of Kindness is so powerful in its ability to affect people and to change people's lives is because of the random nature of it. To make it really simple, what it really means is we should be treating everyone kind. That's simply the way it is. And when you begin to think about that, and particularly when you have an experience of that, if somebody, a perfect stranger, does something for you, is just kind to you, sometimes it's just a kind word when you're having a bad day, that is through helping each other and through being nice and supportive and kind to one another, that life becomes not only a lot easier, but a whole lot more fun.
Part of being psychosocially healthy is being able to respond to people and events in a stable and appropriate manner. To do this, you have to keep things in perspective.
Yes, there are bad things in the world. Yes, there are people who do bad things in the world. That's true. It's always been true. But there are many, 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 many more good people, kind people living out there. For every act of violence, for every act of meanness, there are tens of thousands of acts of kindness and compassion taking place every day. That's the truth about the world we live in. And we need to remember that and to add ourselves to the flow, to the generation of that kindness. And one way to do that is to respond to each other from our hearts and from a place where we all know that we are in this together, all of us. And as long as we're able to talk to people, to respond to people from our hearts with kindness, then someday we will actually make that world a place where we no longer fear it, where we're no longer afraid, and where there is no longer that much violence and fear.
For many, building a support system may be the most important element of social health.
I believe that building a group of people in your life that not always completely like-minded, but maybe somewhat similarly directed, is an incredible support system. I find that, there are times when I'm struggling with things personally that if I didn't have friends who knew me well and who could give me feedback, it would be very difficult. And to have that support is really important.
The fourth component of psychosocial health is spiritual health. Spiritual health can be defined as belief in a unifying force which gives meaning to life. For some, this may arise out of religious beliefs and convictions. For others, it may be the development of a connection with nature and others around them, and a sense of inner peace. According to psychologists and psychoanalysts such as Carl Jung, most people are not concerned with spiritual growth during the first half of their lives. They're more concerned with material needs. But around midlife, a realization happens. You see that material possessions do not automatically bring happiness or self-worth. This realization may occur earlier if some incident or crisis, such as the death of a friend or family member, has caused you to step back and reevaluate the importance of things in your life. Whenever it happens, as you grow spiritually, you begin to recognize the importance of making your own unique contribution.
The older that I get, what I find is that there's something about fulfilling a personal dream and doing the things that are really our passion in life. But hand in hand with that, and it's something that I meet more through my classes, and who knows what will open up to go with that, or maybe the classes will expand, is a feeling that you're serving, that you're giving something back, that you're helping make life better for other people as well.
Spirituality has always been very important to the Native American people.
Everything that we do every day, our daily lives, is all built around living in harmony with nature. I heard that a lot as a child. I always wondered what it meant, but I'm beginning to understand now, and it all means just living with the natural order, that we believe that we are the children of the holy people, and the holy people are the ones that set this earth and the universe for us, and that we should never try to make it different, and we just live accordingly.
Pat Denny has chosen to raise her children far from the city, to teach them about their own Navajo values and traditions. She believes it'll help them stay strong in their lives and be able to live in both the Navajo and the English worlds.
Spirituality, I feel, is a very important part of one's life. When you lose that sense of spirituality, I feel like you don't have a balance anymore. And that's when our children, mainly adolescents, begin to not have a strong sense of identity, and so they go off into others, and they're trying to find out who they are. And so if they have a strong sense of spirituality, they know they have a strong foundation, and they stand strong, and they're ready to go on with their life.
Finding a balance in life is important for all of us, as is a sense of who we are. Do you feel that you have a healthy balance in your own life? A number of factors influence how you perceive your life's experiences. They include external influences, such as your family and the greater environment in which you were raised. There are also internal factors that influence your ability to attain psychosocial balance. These include your level of maturity, traits you've inherited, and even your level of physical fitness. Who you are and how you respond to the challenges in life are also influenced by your personality. Numerous psychologists have attempted to understand human behavior by looking specifically at personality development. Some see the personality as something shaped by deep-seated desires and urges. Others see individual personalities as the result of intentional shaping and a series of rewards and punishments. Abraham H. Maslow, a humanistic psychologist, espoused the belief that all behavior is motivated by a desire for personal growth and achievement, and that it involves free choice and the ability to make decisions that are both conscious and rational. Maslow felt that people achieve emotional well-being by meeting a hierarchy of needs. He believed that before achieving and mastering the higher levels of the hierarchy, people must first fulfill the needs of the previous levels. At the base of the hierarchy are fundamental psychological needs like oxygen, food, water, sleep, sexual release, and exercise. Next comes a need for security, for a physically and emotionally safe and consistent environment. Then a need for love and a sense of belonging, a need for a family or other support group, followed by the need for self-esteem. At the top of his hierarchy is the need for self-actualization, the achievement of a sense of completion, of self-sufficiency, and of relevance. Maslow's theory provides a possible explanation for the diverse behaviors of people. Without the desire and motivation to grow personally and advance to the next level, people can get mired in their ways of thinking. But as we said, Maslow's theory is just one of many. We're probably safer in saying that any understanding of human behavior requires a combination of the different theories. Despite our efforts to understand human behavior and to emphasize balance for psychosocial health, life can sometimes become overwhelming. Thanks to factors such as technology and overcrowding, the pressures of modern living have increased considerably in the past decade. As a result, we've seen a growing number of people seeking help for such difficulties as depression, obsessive-compulsive disorders, and anxiety disorders. Experts believe a number of factors are instrumental in causing these disorders, primarily dysfunctional families, a breakdown in support systems, and unrealistically high expectations by society. Periodic bouts with depression and anxiety are not all that unusual, but when they interfere with daily functioning, professional help may be in order. Unfortunately, the solution all too many opt for is suicide, the third leading cause of death among people between the ages of 15 and 24. College students in particular have a higher rate of suicide than the general population, most likely due to the pressures, disappointments, challenges, and changes for which college is known. Why do you think college students have a higher rate of suicide than the general population? Suicide is not the answer to life's problems. Although it may seem like the easiest solution, it only leaves behind grieving friends and family and numerous unanswered questions. Recovering from a mental illness requires hard work, time, and patience. There are many health professionals to choose from, depending on your particular problem. A psychiatrist is a medical doctor who is specialized in psychosocial health and disease. A psychologist usually has a PhD in counseling or clinical psychology. They're trained in various types of therapy and often specialize in specific areas like family counseling or sexual counseling. A psychoanalyst is a psychiatrist or psychologist with special training in psychoanalysis, a type of therapy in which the patient is helped to remember early traumas that have blocked personal growth. A licensed social worker has at least a master's degree in social work, special training in individual and group counseling, and 2 years of experience in a clinical setting. If you experience emotional problems, would you know where to go for help? No matter which type of professional you choose, the important thing is to find someone you feel you can work with. But how do you know if the feelings you're having or the problems you're experiencing require professional help? Or if someone you know needs help? There are a number of signs to watch for. Erratic mood swings, periods of extreme joy and profound sadness. Also, if a problem is interfering with your daily life so that your normal routine is impossible. Or if your fears or feelings of guilt frequently distract your attention. If you begin to withdraw from others and isolate yourself. You have hallucinations, or you feel life is just not worth living. You might feel inadequate or worthless. Emotional responses are not appropriate to various situations. Daily life seems to be just one crisis after another. Perhaps you feel as though you just can't get your act together. You're having pervasive thoughts about suicide. You turn to drugs or alcohol to escape from your problems. You feel out of control. Despite the many options for help that are available, people are often afraid to seek help or are too out of touch with themselves to realize they have a problem. Friends, relatives, and coworkers can point it out and push for help. But until the individual sees the need, chances are nothing will happen. The bottom line is, if you think you need help, you probably do. It's critically important to understand that seeking professional help is not a sign of weakness. It's a healthy signal that you're willing to change and willing to work out the things that will bring about that change. But even if you feel your psychosocial health is fairly well developed, there are steps you can and should take to improve it. Remember, attaining self-fulfillment is and should be a lifelong process. Building self-esteem, understanding and controlling your emotions, and learning to solve problems and make decisions should be an ongoing part of your growth and development as a well-rounded person. It's important, for example, to find and maintain involvement with a support group, one that can offer you the special nurturing you need at this point in your life. You also need to learn how to complete required tasks, to develop realistic expectations of yourself, to take time to enjoy yourself, and to maintain the physical health that is ultimately so important to your self-esteem. As you go through life, new problems and challenges will force you to keep working on the areas you haven't mastered. Facing and solving them can be among life's more satisfying experiences, because the process invariably results in personal growth. Just remember, you don't have to do it alone. Let a friend help you, or a group, or when necessary, a mental health professional. As a matter of fact, support can sometimes come from someplace you didn't expect. Studies have shown that interactions with a pet, for example, has a measurably positive impact on your psychosocial health. Among other benefits, people who share their lives with animals generally have higher morale and lower rates of depression. That's where Sonny comes in. He's a companion animal who visits nursing homes with his owner, Joni King. One of Sonny's friends is Curly.
Want a kiss? You want to kiss me?
He also has a soft spot for Beulah.
He sure is a nice big dog.
And he never forgets Catherine.
Want to get brushed, huh? Want to get brushed? Yeah, he says, I'm tired. I want to sit down a while.
You probably won't be surprised to discover that Joni gets as much out of the visits as the nursing home patients.
I got involved about 9 years ago, and I heard about people doing this, and I just had an instant reaction of, this is wonderful, and I know I would love it. I used to run a residential camp, and sometimes when the campers were having trouble, I would have them talk with my dog, and it was just a natural thing. The homesick ones would come around, and I watched it happen. So in my heart, I knew that animals have a special therapeutic benefit with people. So when I heard that there's a program doing it, I thought, wonderful, that's what I want to do. I get benefits from watching the elderly people smile. I mean, there's a precious moment when they respond. And not all of them can smile or do smile, but maybe there's another type of response. Maybe you just see a change in posture or some small response, but you know that they have a moment of joy. And for some of them, that's all there is. There's so many things that they can't do in life anymore, so many things that are taken away. And if they have one little moment of pleasure that I'm a part of, it just makes me feel good.
The visits do wonder for Sonny's disposition, too.
Animals, of course, don't talk, and they don't have intellectual things to get messed up communication, so it's genuine with them. They look at a person, they make no judgments about disabilities or missing limbs, it doesn't matter. They just look at the person and they kind of exude a love. And when the person feels this, then they look back, and sometimes they'll say, oh, he loves me, or they smile. You just feel it going between the person and the dog.
Ultimately, you are not alone. We're all in this together. Let people help you with life's burdens and try to be a support for others. The benefits to be gained from helping others, from giving your time and your kindness, couldn't be more obvious. Can you think of anyone you know who is lonely and could use a phone call or a visit? It's a great way to work on building your self-esteem, and there are other ways to work on your self-esteem. You can begin by realizing that mistakes are growth experiences from which you can learn. Avoid getting down on yourself. When someone compliments you, accept it graciously. Focus your attention on positive thoughts. Avoid sulking when things don't go your way. And try not to compare yourself with others. Remember that college is a time of change, a time to explore your potential. What areas of your psychosocial health would you like to change? Whether you think you merely need to make some minor adjustments or that perhaps you need some help, set up a plan and get started. And don't forget the little things that are so important to psychosocial health.
If each of us individually approaches the people around us every day from our hearts instead of from a point of selfishness or anger or resentment, you can change the world.
And remember to laugh. It really is the best medicine.